Hi, everybody. It is Thursday, March 16th. Time marches on here. First off, I had a video up yesterday. Timing is everything. Go away, go away. I'm talking to my friends. Leave me alone. I put a video up yesterday about an album that I worked on called Raiding the Rock Vault that after about 20 views was blocked. It was a project that John Payne from Asia, the group Asia, called me for with Tim Pierce and Simon Phillips and myself, primarily doing it was covers, trying to get exact covers made of about 33 or so classic rock songs ranging from, Kiss to AC/DC to Bowie, you name it, for a show called Raiding the Rock Vault in Las Vegas. And we were cutting all the songs for it. And I put a bunch of those up yesterday. And I have no idea what song triggered a block, but after a few viewings, it was blocked. So I'm sorry about that. I don't think today's is going to get blocked because I've done so much with this artist and I've posted a number of things about her. Also, it was really tragic yesterday. One of the most tragic incidents in my entire career was what happened to the great drummer Jim Gordon. And I heard yesterday that he had just passed away. I think he was 77. But I first met Jim when I was in the band Group Therapy and Mike Post was producing us back in 1967. And we were not allowed to play on our record. We were too young and inexperienced. So the Wrecking Crew did our album. Not an album, we did like 3 or 4 songs. And it was all of those people. It was Tommy Tedesco and Carol Kay and Mike Melvoin and Larry Knechtel and Hal Blaine. Well, the percussionist was a new young kid in town on those things, and it was Jim Gordon. And we met that night. And then about 1970, when my studio career began in earnest, I did a ton of records with Jim, and he played with Bread. He was in Mad Dogs and Englishmen when we did the Hall & Oates albums. He was the drummer on that. He did so much work in town. He was one of the most respected. He was Jeff Porcaro's favorite drummer. Jeff talked about him all the time. Jim Keltner and Jim Gordon were his go-to drummers and stuff. But he suffered eventually from really profound mental illness. And you add that into like a drug culture and all that, and it was just an absolute catastrophe waiting to happen. And, you could see this kind of denigration of him. His playing was always great, but just mentally there were things going on. And eventually he was being tormented by voices. And one of the voices that tormented him was his mom. And he eventually killed her and was found guilty of murder and spent the rest of his life behind bars. And it's been one of the great tragedies of this business, and it's always been hard to come to grips with the kind of the magnitude of what a nightmare this guy was living in. And so I'm hopefully, with this he'll, his torment is over, because I don't know how well this was ever addressed behind bars for him. I know he was he was in, I think, a Tascadero prison, but I think it was also a mental hospital. So I don't know if he was medicated or what the hell ever happened, but it becomes at times a serious topic of conversation amongst all the players, especially all of us who knew Jim and still found this just beyond belief what happened. So that was a tough one yesterday, seeing that. There's been so much loss, but this was just always so kind of surreal. But it's not raining today. It looks like it could start any moment. The sky's really thick and gray, but they were talking that it might not rain for a couple of days, but we'll see. They never thought it was going to be raining at all, so take it with a grain of salt, as they say. So I'm going to play some music here, and then I've got to back to signing, and I'm going to be shipping. If it's not raining, I'll sign as many books as I can and then get them over to the post office. I haven't wanted to go over there while it's raining, just because the loading dock where I go to is outside. I mean, it's covered once you get them into the loading dock, but having the back of my truck open, if it's raining, it just would soak the boxes, and I don't want to have that happen. So if it's not raining at all later today, I'll get as many done as I can and get them out. I've got about 90 some orders to fill right now. So I'm going to go back, and I am going to revisit once again. I've done about 4 little videos here about this artist. So we did a lot of albums together, and I spent a lot of time working with her. And she's one of the most delightful people I've ever worked with. I just adore her so much, and that's Reba McIntyre. So in 1994, we did an album called Read My Mind. And I'll read a little bit about this right here. It says, Read My Mind is the 12th studio album of American country singer-actress Reba McIntyre, released on April 26, 1994. It was preceded by the first single, Why Haven't I Heard From You?, which peaked at number 5 on the country charts. The album's second single, She Thinks His Name Was John, was the first country song to address the topic of AIDS. And then, of course, due to the subject matter, some radio stations shied away from putting it into heavy rotation. Let's not talk about reality, okay? Let's hide in the third single, Till You Love Me, became McIntyre's first song to chart on the Billboard Hot 100. The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, the album's 4th single, topped the country singles charts. The album peaked at number 2 on both country album chart and Billboard's 200, and is certified triple platinum, and I'm sure it's more than that since this was written. The album was released perhaps at the peak of McIntyre's popular cultural popularity, with the release of this album described on an MCA Records billboard as another MCA masterpiece, an autobiography and NBC television special later in the year. I mean, I don't know when these things were actually written, so all of that stuff, she's done so much more even since then, because that's back in, 94. I mean, that's a long time ago. But great collection of players on this one. We have myself on bass, Carlos Vega on drums. Guitar is Dan Huff, Larry Byram, and Biff Watson. Steel is Terry Crisp, Steve Nathan, and Matt Rawlings on keyboards on this. I guess it's Joe McGlohan. I don't remember that name, McGlohan, on saxophone. The background vocals on this are Chris Rodriguez, Chris Harris, Harry Stinson, Lang Scott, Linda Davis, Mark Himmerman, Melissa Coleman, and Vince Gill. And the vocals on this are Reba McIntyre. Other people that were on this for background vocals are Ashley Cleveland, Bob Bailey, Donna McElroy, Kim Fleming, Lisa Beville, Lisa Glasgow, Michael Mellett, Vicki Hampton, and Yvonne Hodges. It's the Nashville String Machine on all the strings on this. It was produced by Tony Brown and Reba. It was arranged and conducted as far as strings and all that by Michael Omardian. Mastered by Glenn Meadows, mixed by John Guess, assisted by Derek Basin. It was recorded by John Guess, Marty Williams, Derek Basin, mixed at Masterphonics in Nashville. We recorded this at Emerald Sound Studios in Nashville. That's about it technically on this album, but it was really an absolute fun project to work on. So the first one I'm going to play for you is called Everything You Want, written by Randy Sharp and Jack Wesley Routh, Routh. So let me find that one. Here we go. Everything That You Want, Reba McIntyre.
In the beginning, the nights were long. Under the moonlight, I could do no wrong. You told me I was everything you wanted me to be. And summer was over, and the nights grew cold. You got restless and hard to hold. I tried to be everything you wanted me to be.
Carlos, that was so great.
Now you keep staring at that open door. You got what you wanted, and you still want more. Well, look at me, I'm everything you wanted me to be. But if I don't keep you satisfied, you can't say that I haven't tried. And if I'm not what you want by now, for the life of me I can't see how I'll ever be everything that you want me to be.
Yeah.
In the beginning, the nights were long. Under the moonlight, I could do no wrong. Remember me, I was everything you wanted me to be. But if I don't keep you satisfied, you can't say that I haven't tried. If I'm not what you want by now, for the life of me I can't see how
Love the feel on that. Loved playing with Carlos. He was something special. But Reba is such a treat. Every project I've ever done with her, she's just like one of those people comes walking in the studio and the room lights up. She's just that kind of a person. It's real easy to understand the success she's had, like as an actress and hostess on award shows and stuff. She's just got it. Here's a song called "Read My Mind." It was written by Keith Thomas, Melissa Coleman, and Todd Moore. Read My Mind. Here we go. Here, and the album again this is the title track to the album, "Read My Mind." So here we go.
A penny for my thoughts, you say. You wanna know what I could be thinking, but as I speak, the music starts to play, and the words just somehow slip away. Read my mind. People tell you that I love you and you're all I ever wanted in a man. You'd see how I feel. What my head won't let my heart reveal. If only you could read my mind, read my mind. One look from you and look at me. I'm trembling like a little girl. I tell myself, if I can just believe, any day now you fall in love with me. Read my mind. People tell you that I love you and you're all I ever wanted in a man. You'd see how I feel. What my head won't let my heart reveal. If only you could read my mind. Tell me if you feel the same way I do. Oh, tell me that I'm not mistakenly taken with you. You're all I ever wanted in a man. You see, all I need is everything you want to me. If you could somehow read my mind, you would see what I can't seem to say. If only you could, oh, if you would read my mind, read my mind.
It's a beautiful song. The thing that was really always great about these projects too is, odds are that I don't think we ever did much more than at the very most 3 takes of a song. Probably most of the things we got in the first take or the second take. On these, the band was so good. We'd come in and we'd listen to the song, put together a number chart for it, and then everybody just boom would come together, and we'd nail it because we would finish. I mean, there's 10 tracks on this album, and we probably did the album in 4 days, and it was just this beautiful environment in the studio. I loved Emerald. It was a great room. I don't know if it's even still there anymore, but we did lots of albums there. Did most of Susie Bogus's stuff there, and a whole pile of records, Oak Ridge Boys. But there was just this energy that would happen in the room amongst the players, and it would just be like laser, just arranging and finding your place and immediately nailing it, and then just goofing around for a while and then go, let's do another song, kind of a situation. Here's one called I Won't Stand in Line, written by Randy Sharp and Steve Diamond. Let's see, we got I Won't Stand in Line here. I love this feel.
You told me I was one in a million, everything you wanted in this world. Every time I turn around, I hear tell you paint the town with one of those million other girls.
What an Oklahoma girl there.
Oh, what you do to me is not the question. I swear I felt the magic from the start.
Feel is so good.
I see the promise of a legendary love, but I am not about to share your heart. Oh, I'd do almost anything just to make you mine, but I won't stand in line. I won't stand in line waiting for your call. I won't take a number just to take a call. So make up your mind. I won't stand in line. Oh, how long do you think that you can handle keeping all those hearts up in the air? Don't you know in time you're bound to stumble, and when that day comes it won't be my affair. Oh, I'd do almost anything just to make you mine, but I won't stand in line. I won't stand in line waiting for your call. I won't take a number just to take a call. So make up your mind. I won't stand in line. I'd do almost anything just to make you mine, but I won't stand in line. I won't stand in line waiting for your call. I won't take a number just to take a call. So make up your mind. I won't stand in line. Oh, I won't stand in line. I won't stand in line. I won't stand in line.
I could play this groove all night.
I'd do almost anything if I could.
Like cruising the Pacific Coast Highway.
I won't stand in line. I won't stand in line. I'd do almost anything if I could make you mine, but I won't stand in line. I won't stand in line.
Fun tune. But that groove, it's so infectious to me. And just like you could just sit there for a half hour, let people solo on it, and fun live thing. And I just think back, sitting being in the studio with Carlos or on stage with him, and we were like connected. We were always watching each other and kind of giddy and giggling at each other on stage. He was the most fun to play with, just a joyous man. I loved being with him. One more tune here, I think. I Wish That I Could Tell You, written by Tony Martin, Van Stevenson, and Reese Wilson. So let me grab that one. One more here. So this is Reba McIntyre, 1994. Read My Mind is the name of the album.
How do you tell someone you're letting go? I wish that I could tell you, but you're asking me things that I don't know. I wish that I could tell you. The words that I would say sound as empty as the way you feel inside, while the silence in between tells me everything that you deny. I don't know how to help you. I wish that I could tell you how to tell me goodbye. I don't know how you leave it all behind. I wish that I could tell you. Is it true a heart heals itself with time? I wish that I could tell you. How do you choose? Do you hurt them with the truth or with the lie? Where do you go to find the courage you know I could never find? I don't know how to help you. I wish that I could tell you how to tell me goodbye. Where do you turn? Where do you go when you finally reach the end of the road? How do you say it? I just don't know. When it comes to leaving, you're on your own. How do you tell someone you're letting go? I wish that I could tell you. Oh, I wish that I could tell you.
I might visit some more songs on this album in the next couple of days because it's really a good record. Really loved working on this. Loved working with Reba and Tony Brown. Tony was always just a joy to be with in the studio as a producer. I mean, he has a long history as a keyboard player. I mean, he played with Elvis, played with Emmylou Harris and stuff, and then he ended up kind of under the tutelage of Jimmy Bowen and that whole dynasty in Nashville, and became an incredibly successful record producer to all George Strait's records. And stuff, and it was really fun when we played in Nashville with Lyle. Tony came to the gig. I hadn't seen him in a while. It was great to see him. So, but this is really a fun thing, and like I said, Reba is just was an absolute treat to be around in the studio. Just a total pro. Get out there. Every vocal she would do in the vocal booth was a keeper. You know, they would go back in and she'd work on them more afterwards, but probably did very little, but because she's her, own worst judge. And, but, she would just put out 100% every time she got in that booth. So I'm going to go work on books right now, keep doing that. Yesterday was our first Clubhouse live stream in 6 weeks or so, since it's real hard for me to do these things when I'm on tour because our time is so slammed between travel and sound checks and gigs and stuff, trying to find time where I can lock up a couple hours on a day is really difficult. But when we go out for the summer tour, I'm gonna try to make it happen and try to keep the schedule as consistent as I can. But it was just great to catch up with everybody again yesterday, and it's such a beautiful community that's evolved over these past couple of years on the YouTube Clubhouse. And I'm really grateful for the friendships that have evolved out of this and the community in general that's become friends within itself. I mean, I look at the chat window and people are just talking to each other like they're old friends. I mean, they've really gotten vested in each other's lives, and it's pretty cool. It's great. So I thank them for that. And I'm going to get to work now on my retail business, whatever. It's crazy. But I'm going to wish everybody a wonderful day, and I'm going to get running and back to work. So have a great one. I'll talk to you later. Bye.